What's up? Welcome back to the Eileen in Under 10 Minutes podcast. Today we're diving into all things breast augmentation. So for those of you that don't know, I had surgery at the beginning of the year and we're about 6 weeks post-op now. So I put a Q&A box on Instagram with any questions on ABA also, and I've also received a lot of questions in the DMs. So compiling all of those for you guys today, and I'm just breaking it down a little bit more candidly on our podcast because I feel like this is such a taboo topic, even with it being a very popular surgery. And I'm not encouraging this by any means, but if you're here, then you're most likely interested in getting one or you're curious about the process. And so going to be getting into all of the details today and sharing some things too that I didn't see being covered when I was doing my research and watching videos just like this. So make sure you stay tuned till the end to hear all of that. Let's get into it. So why I decided to get a breast augmentation. So obviously this is a very personal choice. I have two kids. I have 6-year-old and 2-year-old, breastfed them both. And then I went through competition prep after each one. And so with all of that, I lost a lot of my breast tissue. My skin elasticity was definitely impacted, and I just really wanted to have the full package because I had worked so hard on my physique, and I felt like at the end there I had finally become so confident in my body, like my actual physique, but then my boobs were the lagging body part that I couldn't do anything about. And so for me, it was definitely I wanted the fuller, rounder look of my breasts to feel more feminine again. And just being that I also always had bigger boobs growing up. So I had C's and D's before the girls. And then when I was breastfeeding, I honestly had even bigger boobs. And so yeah, for me, it's always been more normal for me to have bigger boobs. And so I'm just really excited to enjoy them again and feel sexy and confident and feminine. What I actually ended up getting done, so I have silicone implants under the muscle, 520 cc's on my left and then 560 cc's on my right. And so size is going to come down to your actual anatomy, what you're able to handle. Definitely save a lot of inspirational photos and bring those to your consults, and your surgeon will be able to tell you what they can do for you. And then if your surgeon also has sizers, I know some clinics have an actual digital tool that they can use to see what you would look like with different sizes. So that is an option too. From that, I was able to have a good idea of what cc's I wanted. And they say it's 150 to 200 cc's is a cup size. But yeah, with the size, definitely know what kind of look you're wanting to get done and trust your surgeon with the actual size. So moving on to the actual surgery and recovery process, we had our surgery scheduled for a Thursday. So Jack drove me there because I can't drive after surgery. So we arrived at 8 a.m. We prepped for hour and a half or so, and then went into the operation room. I honestly don't remember the last thing I said. I just remember being on the table, kind of laying like this. And then I woke up and I was in my clothes, my zip up, and I had already slept for an hour after the surgery. So from what I know, it was a 45-minute surgery. I had intravenous anesthesia done. So when I woke up, I wasn't foggy or high or nauseous or anything like that. I would be with the hospital gas anesthesia. So that was really nice. So something to, ask your surgeon as well when you're doing your interviews. In terms of what my breasts felt like, so my chest was definitely tight. I didn't really feel like there was an elephant sitting on my chest. A lot of people explain it in that way, but definitely I felt like they were engorged. They're definitely filled. So if you're a mom, you'll know what that feeling is like. But yeah, no real pain at all. They did prescribe narcotics for after the surgery. I didn't end up taking any pain meds, just the Tylenol and the muscle relaxers. And then I had my sister stay with me for the first 3 days after surgery, and that was so needed because I couldn't do anything by myself. I could literally lift my arms to here. My range of motion was nothing, and you can't lift anything past 5 pounds in those first few weeks. So Yeah, for me, I just played it safe. For the first few weeks, I truly didn't do any housework at all. And then when I did start doing housework, it was like very light. You're not supposed to get your heart rate up at all in those first 3 to 4 weeks because you are at higher risk for internal bleeding. And so I was just super careful with like moving around at all. And then at the 4 week mark, I was cleared to start doing cardio again and light leg. So we've really just stuck with body weight legs for now, just to take it easy. And then I have my 6 week this Friday. So very excited for that because at the 6 week mark, typically you are cleared to start doing all activity again. And obviously, like, ease into things, but I can start like lifting weights again. I can start doing upper body training. And so I'll definitely take you guys through that process like on Instagram and maybe do some YouTube videos with the different workouts that I'm doing. But yeah, very excited to get back into my normal day-to-day activities because that definitely impacted like my mental health, just because it's such a big part of my like lifestyle and identity is being able to train hard and like feel good in my body. Another thing that I wasn't expecting was how much my body changed after surgery. And I know it's not permanent by any means, but like I was so inflamed after surgery and I didn't take my body weight like immediately when I got home, but I did take it a few days later and I was up legit 10 pounds and I was like, how did that happen? And I looked like my postpartum body. But yeah, that was definitely hard. It still is hard for me because I haven't been able to do all of the training that I normally do, all of the activity that I normally do. So yeah, that has definitely been an adjustment for me. But again, like I said, it's so temporary and our body will do exactly what it needs to do to get us back to 100%. So in terms of how much the surgery actually cost, $8,000 was my total. Obviously, it's going to range per surgeon. I think the average is like 6 to 12 grand, and it can range to be even more than that based on what additional services you're getting. So say you're getting a breast lift with a breast augmentation, then it might cost a little bit more. So when do implants need to be replaced? It used to be that surgeons recommended every 10 years, but now it's no like hard and fast rule. It's kind of when you want it done or if you need it done. I was super happy to hear that from my surgeon. Will I lose nipple sensation? So temporary numbness is very common, very normal. I honestly still can't feel like my boobs. So I definitely can't feel my nipples right now, but there is a possibility of permanent loss if your incision was done in your nipples, because that is an option if you choose to get it there. So my incision was inframmary, so right under my boobs. Otherwise, some people also do auxiliary, so in the armpit. But yeah, for me, I knew I wanted to go under the boobs. But can you still breastfeed after implants? Yes, most people can. If you go under the muscle, you have more likelihood of being able to continue to breastfeed if you were going to be able to breastfeed before the breast surgery already. The general consensus is that if you're able to breastfeed before surgery, then you are able to after. And then some other potential risks and complications to be aware of. Another big one is infection. Just making sure that you're listening to your surgeon's post-op care instructions. So don't go into the pools and the hot tubs and where like it's a breeding pool of bacteria, literally. And so for me, my surgeon actually had me wear Band-Aids over my nipples until they fell off on their own. And then I put a bacitracin on top of them just to try to create that extra layer of protections. And then another one to be aware of is implant rupture. And so if you have saline implants, you'll feel it right away where the water will immediately like splash and you'll feel it. But with the silicone implants, it is harder to tell. Typically, you'll need an MRI. Another way that people usually find out that they had a rupture is with something called capsular contracture developing. So that's definitely something to ask your surgeons about, just to make sure you're aware of what symptoms you should be mindful of while you're recovering. All right, so that's all I have for today's episode. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll definitely do another video later on in the process once I'm more recovered and back in the gym. But thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I will see you guys next time.